to see NGA, how they brawl up against AF Blue, who just seem to have a very good understanding of how to play together as a team in a situation where you are constantly fighting for that point.
So no Ana again, I just want to point that out off the get-go. But we are seeing the Genji Tracer out of NGA, and AF Blue responding with the same. So this is going to be an insane match. We're going to see who has
Maps
the better...
on Tracer.
Huh?
Maps on Tracer is
yeah, so he
me.
can play something besides McCree. We'll find if he can play to the same kind of level, though. But NGA already with 2 quick kills off the start. Arlie just distracted for time. 3 HP! He escapes, but eventually Adam...
It's a drive-by zapping, that one.
Exactly, just leaping from tree to tree, picks him off. And NGA are still going to capture the point initially here, so good start for them.
Yeah, I mean, let's keep our eyes on Maps, because when I see Samsara play anything other than sort of Zaya or
Reaper,
I get a little bit concerned. But again, I mean, this is more different, but this is quite different. This is even weirder than going from Tracer to Genji. From McCree to Tracer is just a super different style of play.
Tracer's all about tracking, and the way he plays McCree is all about flicking. So, I don't know, it's going to be really rough to kind of play it, especially when you haven't really shown it before and you're being forced to play it at a level like this. And you can see the rest of his teams are already died. Well, not necessarily because he's in a bad position, just because they've fallen down. They weren't able to really pick up the right kills, but also ult advantage for AF Blue, and NGA are going to have to go back to the drawing board. They're going to have the pulse bomb. They're not going to have the combo just yet. And RLE, just look at the Genji difference between them. Ult has been up for about, what, 10 seconds for Arhan? And RLE is still charging up. He's only at 80% currently.
Maps, you know, having so much freedom, but doing able to do very little with it there as well. I mean, the AF Blue focused on the rest of his team and then sort of picked him up. Here's the Dragon Blade. Look how high up Arhan's managing to get. Got to be careful. One more Orbit Destruction would have done him in, but he manages to survive that one. Finish off the Omnic Monk, and now looking for one last Shuriken in. But no, it's going to be Jin helping him out deal with Shadowcat now up on that Zaya. Maps coming back into the fight though now as well. RLE not too far away. He has a Dragon Blade of his own, but he gets taken quite low. That's the sound barrier coming in though, so this is a good chance to go for the fight. But RLE may be thinking about a bit of a health pack at this stage, or trying to go for the Lucio, and yes man does fall down. RLE to back away, and NGA trying to retake control here, but it's just RLE really at the moment, and of course Maps off towards the side of the Tracer, but that seems to be enough. They're going to flip the point back.
You're seeing the communication out of AF Blue just be insane. The fact that they knew exactly where Little Cat was going to be, I don't even think Arhan saw him. They just made the call of the position, the building he's on, and he just dove for it, trusting his teammates. And once you pick up that quick kill, no Transcendence, no Orbit Discord, there's just nothing you can do when you lose your Zen so quickly in a fight. But now NGA controlling the point. Look at this, 40% to 50. And AF Blue do have ult advantage. They do have their combo relatively soon. Recry is about to hit his pulse bomb.
There's a grab coming in. Recry needs a couple more shots to come through here as well. He's actually just... Okay, not really sure what the plan was there. He actually maybe waited it out. I'm not really sure why. There was no sound barrier actually to prevent you from going for something like that. That was a very, very weird little fight there. Recry there. I might have got sucked in by the Graviton Surge himself, but now I'm going to have to back away out of this fight. He's Derek gets himself 2 quick kills. Recry and Jin fall down. That's going to be a boop off into the well. Nicely done. Making life a lot harder for AF Blue. And with how long this fight has been drawn out here, NGA actually set themselves up in a position where AF Blue have to run in for one last fight.
And considering we're looking at, ults from both sides, everything was basically committed to that last fight. The Tracer was able to build up their pulse bombs yet again. Both Genji still on their way. No Transcendence for either of them, but they're going to have a sound barrier advantage for NGA. Hysteria, he just needs to stay alive, and if he gets this off, this could be looking good for NGA. Archmage is not able to accomplish anything. He's looking for a mouse, but the sound barrier is now down, and that's 3 kills for NGA.
That's more than NGA even needed. They don't even need the sound barrier, I don't think, but it's going to be enough to help them win the fight here. Arhan goes down yet again. He had Dragon Blade available, but no chance to use it. Adam is forced just to chase after Little Cat, but the catnip is not going to be enough. He needed a few more kills, and NGA flip it back. Crowd are loving it right now, and they are taking this fight to AF Blue. 2 teams with a bit of a history across 2 different regions now, showing it all on the big stage in the game that really counts and on the map that really matters.
Alright, so going into the second map of Ilios. What's it going to be? I think Lighthouse or Ruins? Ruins is going to be interesting because Ruins is a map, it's very linear. It's very hard to flank on that map as a Tracer for maps, or even Genji, it's very hard to make that work. So you have to fight head to head. There's none of those secret pathways you can kind of go through. When it comes to that map, I'm assuming Maps is going to be on McCree, especially since it's more long range. You don't necessarily need to put him on Tracer, though. You can obviously get back to the point a little bit quicker. But we'll have to see that map next one, because we're going to be on Lighthouse, and we're seeing a Pharah.
All right, I'm happy with this one here. I mean,
should be.
Well, possibly, because there's no Mercy to accompany here as well. So he has the Ana to help him. He's boosted over the top there. That's really interesting. So very early he's going to be able to get towards the back line. It's actually Recry going for it in this case, not Arhan, as it was expected. He's actually gone towards the Reaper, and this first fight is going really, really nicely here for AF. Recry, people are still wondering where these rockets are coming from here. We know it's not a cruel act of a deity up above that doesn't care. It's actually the Pharah, but nice little work there. RLE gets himself in the one-hit combo with 4 health left.
Wow, that was really difficult to pull off by him, and a great job just to avoid as much damage as he possibly can. It's really hard for Pharah to take down a Genji because of the double jump. You can't get a lot of splash damage onto him. Now RLE is actually being chased away and being forced to actually escape for this one. But look at that. The Winston jumps direct on top of him here. Adam is looking for the kill. He's already able to force a lot of resources, a lot of healing onto him. And Arhan getting nano boosted, going straight to the back line. He's looking for the Zenyatta. He takes him down. And this is looking good for AF Blue.
There's no chance of Little Cat surviving that one now. Arhan going to back away towards the point. He's actually getting healed as he does Shadow Walk through. Hysteria just out of position, and Arhan was actually more focused on capturing the point here early on, as NGA had flipped it throughout that fight at some point. So now, big ults coming online in just a moment here for mostly both sides. Pulse Bomb for Maps. We're going to see the Death Blossom here for Arhan as well. Very important. Recry working towards his first of his barrages. But Maps going to push out on towards the point and waste very, very little time in trying to go over towards Yes Man. He picks him up all too easily there as well. That can often be very hard to do, but Yes Man might not have had the healing boost. Now Maps getting sucked into the Graviton Surge, and that's an easy target for Recry. He's up above. He gets himself 2 kills. Now wants to try and deal with RLE. A decently placed rocket. He will get the job done, but now over towards the point as Hysteria tried to flip it back in his favor, tried to ninja it there, but he's eventually chased out.
I love how Rikai's playing this fair too, because I mean,
that
yeah, he died earlier on, but the fact he's playing around these health packs as well. He realizes I don't have a pocket mercy, I don't have a pocket support, so I have to kind of keep myself alive. And for the most part, he's been able to do that relatively well and do a lot of chip damage. This is where an Ana can really succeed too, if you're playing NGA, because there's so much extra damage coming your way. Get a bar grenade down, get the extra healing. You're gonna have nano boost non-stop. That Trance Arm's already being popped. It's not really accomplishing too much. But it did stop the barrage from killing anyone.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't quite get the damage done, especially with Primal Rage being popped there for Fury. But Recry is able to focus now more on these squishy targets over on the point. He's using this concussive pass very well just to move himself around the map and also make his pathing a little bit less predictable. Recry, just one of the extra fire points, I guess, and even the ult percent they can be given by Shadowcat falling.
Alright, so a lot of ultimates committed by AF Blue, even NGA there, using that Transcendence. They do have the Graviton Surge, they do have the Pulse Bomb, they have the combo. Fury's going to be able to get back towards his teammates in the nick of time, but 81%, this is pretty much coming down to it, and the Soundbreaker is already being popped, but there's no fighting happening off the back of that just yet.
I don't know if that was just to try and save the life of Fury as he backed away very, very low, a little bit early, and that's already decayed away now. Still, kills coming in favor of NGA in this fight. Recry's had to back away, and he might struggle here. He should be able to just get over the line. I think someone just fell off there, but now with NGA sort of being forced to back up on towards his point, AF have to concede.
Yeah, they'll give this one up because they realize we're going to have a barrage coming up. Death Blossom Death Blossom's ready to go. You have the Primal Rage. They're at 96%, and NGA just been able to finally get some sort of percent built up here. But what can RLE accomplish? He has the Dragon Blade available. It's going to be relatively hard to kind of take Recry out of the sky necessarily.
I mean, especially if you don't get any dash resets midway through, it's super hard to do. So Recry could be a problem, but this is a good way to clip the wings of Farah. Gets sucked down as well, but the healing coming in from the Bionic Grenade, keeping him alive long enough. He eventually does fall. RLE had the Dragon Blade, a lot of damage thrown into that by NGA. A good fight, but a lot of ultimates were committed here, and they're not really close enough to winning for that to be the be-all and end-all now, because AF Blue can come back into this next fight with the Graviton Surge and a Sound Barrier to work with.
Yeah, so Blue actually did commit a barrage and the Death Blossom there. But I guess they're not going to really care too much because they're going to switch over to a Tracer Arhan, just dropping the Reaper. They have the Graviton Surge ready to go. They have the Barodic Grenade as well to stop any sort of Transcendence from coming in and out of Little Cat, who's already actually about half HP, and Recry is trying to go in towards the back lines to just take out any reinforcements. And there we go, the Nano Boost being popped.
RLE going to go down there as well. Adam just sticking to that Genji like glue, and that's the way to do it. Recry up above. Shadowcat falls to a rocket thrown in now, and Neil can pressure on towards the Winston. Recry jumps up on top, but this could be a little bit nasty. He's going to get caught in towards this Graviton Surge, and that's easy for Recry. It's a shooting gallery, laying those rockets in one after another. That point flips back, and there's no time for NGA to return here. Although overtime was triggered by someone on the point, there's not going to be any chance of keeping that one going.
Yeah, not at all. And honestly, Recry, like, what challenged him in the entire of that match? Nothing. There was no McCree, there was no Soldier, there was nothing to really kind of knock him out of the skies, except maybe Little Cat on Zenyatta, which still, for the most part, he didn't have the opportunity to throw off those orbs towards his direction. So honestly, a smart play out of him. Means we're going to be going to Ruins now. We're tied at 1 apiece. And, you know, we're seeing some depth, and we're seeing AF Blue being challenged somewhat, finally. We're seeing them start to sweat a little bit when it comes to, you know, picking heroes and forcing fights it the way they want to. We haven't really seen many combos, necessarily, I think. I haven't seen, like, a Graviton Pulse Bomb, except on Well. There was only, like, once it happened. Graviton Barrage wasn't really working. Recry popped this Barrage, like, outside the point by himself and killed no one. Whether or not it was the Transcendence healing or just because they weren't grouped up is obviously a different story, but here we go. We're on to Ruins now, tied at 1 apiece.
Yeah, team comp-wise as well, we see the McCree come back into the fold here, so definitely some more opportunities for them to make this work. It's quite open, yeah, well, it's probably pretty safe, but actually there's 2 McCrees here. So it's going to be Recry versus Map, so 2 McCrees coming out, Genji for RLE and just the Reaper for Arhan. Well, not just the Reaper, but a Reaper as it were. Again, this is a situation where NGA can be happy with their tank selection. Teams are pretty similar except for those DPSs now. And RLE gets caught. You don't want to get caught there, son. He gets body grenaded down. And of course, the Tesla cannon going to just shred that health away. Arhan tries to respond in, but Hysteria catches him out. I think it was a boot to the face that actually got the extra damage across the line. And Maps has got a great vantage point here just to get free damage down. You can see where his focus is. Adam is the one to crumble under the Peacemaker.
And again, when you don't pressure Maps, he gets kills left and right. I mean, you can't see how much damage he did, but the fact he has his ultimate up already in this fight, the first one of the game, even beating out on Anno, on Dayfly, that just shows how much work he did in the first engagement, which means he can play a little bit more passive now if he wants to, and just use the Deadeye to defend off the other team, just has to make sure he doesn't die to Arhan, which he already has before.
The biggest tool for a McCree to be self-sufficient in Overwatch is good positioning, and I think that was at least decent from what we saw there from Maps. He was in a good spot. Oh, RLE! You're not going anywhere, son. Recry catches him out with a flash and the perfect timing with the headshot now. The Graviton Surge going to catch AFLU together here, and you can see now the Primal Rage coming in. Recry just getting knocked over on towards the point. He still catches that Shadowcat there. That's an important pick-off. Still got a Primal Rage Winston to deal with here, and Fury's not letting him get away with this one easily, but Fury has to fall in just a few moments here. Bubble comes up and still gets caught there. Recry causing some problems, and both McCrees are highlighting here for both sides. They're also both the catalysts for the point being flipped.
So RLE, I thought he had his Dragon Blade up in that last fight, before he actually got killed. I guess that was a mistake in there, but Arhan's gonna have his available. And Matt's been forced to switch off the McCree, which I don't know. I'm not really well, I mean, they're changing no matter what. I guess that's the story here. We're going to see a Transcend Speed pop to mitigate this Dragon Blade, but it doesn't seem to have worked. There must have been a Bio Grenade or something coming in there, because now NGF lost out on 4 people in Maps, and RLE trying to come in the last few seconds to turn this around, but I don't think there's going to be any chance this one is Arhan. He's just going to go for those right clicks. Or not even the right clicks. He's just go for the melees onto RLE to finish him off. And AFLU will hold strong.
I don't know why I thought I saw a Graviton reflective there as well. I could just be seeing things there. I'm not sure. I did see the purple ball just go flying through. I mean, regardless, as it stands, it's AFLU with control here. They've pretty much got this point held down nicely, and that fight being elongated as it was has allowed them to get at least even and in fact ahead now. NGA quickly throw themselves on towards the point here, and you can see they're being a little bit tentative about approaching this one. They're allowing Maps to get to the back line, but again, the flash comes in. That's nicely done. Recry, second time he takes down a flanker there, and that's what you need to do as McCree. That's why he's so damn important. Arhan finds RLE here, and AF just taking control. Recry, a big part of that. The flank is getting nowhere on the side of NGA.
I don't know if I agree with the Tracer, to be honest. I mean, Maps, you'll be able to pick up quite a few kills. The problem is you don't have the area to play around that you normally would when you would play Tracer like you do on Well, like you do on Lighthouse. And I feel like the McCree, if you can just take out Arhan, it provides so much extra and more control in general to the actual fight. But so far, Recry on the McCree's been scoring some really good stuff, taking down RLE quite a few times, and Arhan's just more than happy to continue just to harass from the side. No one's dealing with him. Look at this. They're completely ignoring him. He's going to have Dragon Blade yet again. He's going to stop this attack before it even happens.
Breaks the shield in one hit, and then the second one is going to be lethal for Shadowcat. Arhan now going to be chasing down Hysteria here. Finding a little bit harder than it ought to be. The boop away is not going to quite be enough, as Arhan is absolutely indomitable in his will. He wants the kill, and he'll have it too. Maps, Pulse Bomb gets locked in. He actually gets Arhan. Arhan just cruises on through and gets caught by that one now, but more needs to be done by NGA to hold this point. Maps is not going to be enough. That's the issue. Transcendence comes in. That's going to help. Recry, though, trying to find RLE, but doesn't actually catch him there. The stun grenade goes over his head, but RLG, he does get Biter Grenaded down. It's going to be hard for him to heal. In fact, impossible for him to heal through. The Graviton Surge lacking follow-up here a little bit for NGA, as Recry has a bit of space to move. Flash goes in towards that one. Shield being used there as well by Fury to try and keep his team alive, but eventually that's broken, and so is NGA Spirit, and their hold on the point. It's going to be AFLU respond 2-1.
I'm not really sure why, Mitch. Why Maps decided to switch off to that Tracer in that one?
I guess it was like when AFLU retook the point, Maps did get killed very, very early on in the fight, but you can see what Recry is able to do against Tracers and Genjis there.
Yep.
And Maps is probably, in my opinion, one of the more proficient Genjis from this region. I say you compared him to the I think McCree, sorry. I think you made that comparison. I think that's reasonable to make there. I don't know why he goes to Tracer. I haven't seen any incredible Tracer.
I mean, the Tracer allows you to get back to the point quickly, right? But
he used it halfway through the round.
Yeah, and McCree gives you a lot more control. Maybe that was a choice. I'm assuming that had to have been choice by the team for him to switch to Tracer, because I think he'd be more than happy to stick to McCree as long as he possibly can. And Arhan was being such a nuisance. You saw it there, like the entire team of NGA ran past him while he was just spamming right clicks to the backside, pops his Dragon Blade, picks up 2 kills, and still gets away without even being punished. This is the interesting one, as you get in the Lighthouse, and Recry's more than happy to pitch Farah yet again.
And NGA don't have the McCree to deal with these. Fury might be one of the few that can actually challenge the Farah down, and maybe RLE. We talked about this already here. So that's kind of why Farah, we started to see her appear on Ilios especially. teams like Team Liquid and even Envious would sort of go for that pick there as well and actually have a lot of success. But despite that fact, NGA have had a good start to this round here. They get the kills through. It's going to be Dayfly and Yes Man fall towards the end, and Hysteria can sort of just be the loose end on the team. Just go pick up the point and then want to fight towards the middle. There's no need to stand on the point after you've taken it there. You can just sort of collapse on the enemy team as they try and regain it.
Got Arlie, he's trying to play on the high ground too, just trying to sit above them. Try to give them information, most importantly by double jumping up on top of that roof. Meantime, the rest of AFLU going to be pushing in, and Recry again, there's no one to challenge out on him. There's no McCree, and this is why I want to see maps switch over, because this is the map they had such a tough time on before. He's on 20 health. One shot from anyone would basically secure the kill onto him, and yet he's been able to escape for the most part. And he's actually going to escape with, what, 1 HP left?
Very, very low.
But NG is going to still hold the point.
That was clever. Very clever by Maps. He comes around the side and catches Recry as he tries to alight there on the ground. I mean, it's a pretty prescribed route that Farah needs to take to get back towards the rest of the team, but there was not going to be any healing there. Recry, he's done with this nonsense. Back towards the McCree that he had so much success with on Ruins.
Well, if anyone's going to know how to counter a McCree, it's going to be Maps, who plays him all the time. Arlie's going to get the kill on Arhan immediately here, so eliminates any Dragon Blade from him, and he didn't even pop his own, which he can potentially go for. The thing is, NGA want to try to commit the least amount of ultimates they possibly need to secure this fight, so they can continue to build up 0%.
To be fair, Arlie's done well for himself. They've got a few kills, and even Maps is helping out quite a lot now. Has his pulse bomb ready to go, but may not even need it. He's trying to hunt down Adam, who's already very quickly gotten out of there, very quickly backed away. Now Arhan is back up alive, but he's taking a lot of damage from the Tesla cannon. Recry coming in, as is Adam, just to try and force Fury back for this one, but so many ults in the hands of NGA. Sound Barrier coming out from AFLU and the Dragon Blade. They're investing heavily in this fight, and they need to be effective with the use of these ultimates. Arhan wouldn't call that super effective there. He gets caught out in the open, but the point is taken back as NGA just disengage because they got 5 ults to come back. They're happy to give the point with such an advantage, a huge buffer. They come back in with 5. They can just sort of slowly churn through these ults here. In fact, even one more solid to do one fight should be enough. Here comes the Graviton.
I was going to say, Graviton's going to be really hard to hit here, but it doesn't matter. Mavs gets the quad kill with the pulse bomb, and that is going to be a full team wipe. NGA going to turn this point around. They're going to be up to about 90% before AFLU get off another successful attack. They committed a hell of a lot of ultimates to this, but nonetheless, the pressure's on AFLU. They somehow have to come back.
That is massive. Nicely done by Maps. Well, I mean, to be fair, sometimes it'd be quite easy. You just sort of drop the pulse bomb in there and let it be done, but still very, very nice indeed. Recry going to go for the Deadeye here as well. Progress needs to be made for AF, and that may not be enough. Maps does go down, a crucial player being taken off the map, but AF Blue are always investing so many ultimates into these fights because they have to. They have no choice anymore. They can't just sit back and wait for it now. Overtime is triggered. I had to get on towards this point, and it's just sort of Fury flailing in vain now. He'll probably be happy enough just to go for the respawn as Hysteria tries to get the cheeky boop. Arhan can probably get back here. Just a quick dash. He probably could even have caught the ledge and climbed back up. He's kept on the point. Another Dragon Blade ready to go, but Maps is already back. He's returned. He got picked up by the Deadeye at the start of that fight, but now he's trying to shut down the Dragon Blade. He recalls out of it there, but Arhan gets taken down. He had the Dragon Blade, but Fury picks him up, and AF Blue might not be able to hold this.
They're still going to be trying to contest as best they can. Arlie's able to come back in again. The Dragon Blade is almost ready to go. He's trying to go for the Ana off to the side. Dayfly's actually dropped away from the point. The overtime is taken, and NGA will take it to the 5th map on Ilios. And the winner of this next map is guaranteed through to next week.
The next round even.
Yeah, next round. But that was a tough one. Maps able to play Tracer to a competent level against AF Blue. And more importantly, RLE, I think for the most part, got the better of Arhan in this section on Ilios.
Yeah, I think it's pretty reasonable to say there. We expected him to be strong. We kind of highlighted the Genji matchup in this series as being one of the more critical points, or definitely one of the touch points between these two teams. I don't think Arhan's a bad Genji at all. The fact is that after the first fight, losing at that first fight there really was what caused a snowball. I mean, we saw NGO able to build up a bit of a head of steam, a bit of a lead, and then they could sort of sit back. They could invest big ults in the fights if they wanted to, because they knew they were so far ahead they could just wait for them to charge up again.
The thing is, Arlie has more pressure on him because of Recry playing the McCree than Arhan does, because when you see when you're up against a Tracer, but Arlie going a little bit aggressive, down to about 60 HP, he's being chased. You can see the emphasis AF Blue's putting onto him, but it doesn't matter. It looks like Recry and the rest of AF Blue have been able to meet the aggression that NGA have been able to put against them and take the point on the first attack.
Dealing with Genji on maps like this already, in fact, for a Winston player is quite simple. You need to take responsibility as that Winston player. Make sure you're the one who does deal that final blow towards Genji, or at least sees that one happen, because otherwise he can run rampant. There's not a heck of a lot else that can really deal with a flank like that, but the Tesla cannon very effective here. So NGA shoved off early on in the fight, or in this round. Now having to come back in here. See Arhan go very, very low, very, very quickly, but Hysteria is actually the first player to fall there. Maps has got a good little vantage point here, a good little in, but he gets taken down. Adam just lands on top of him there. It's a bit of a squish, and Trace is sent back to spawn. Arhan trying to get away, but the fists are swinging from Fury. Fist of Fury even, he drops down. And of course, he can throw the shield back on up here and try and hold a forward point for NGA, but they're not making huge progress here. AF Blue able to push back just as hard.
Yeah, but NGA, I mean, they still have yet to play an Ana in this series. They're more than happy to continue to play with this Lucio and this Zenyatta. And AF Blue having that Ana boost onto Adam, onto Recry, onto Arhem, pretty much guarantees a one fight for yourself, assuming you can get onto the right targets. But Arlie's going to have his Dragon Blade up. General NGA is going to be behind an ultimate, so you can see AF Blue order 4 to go. But Arhem gets, like you just said, gets immediately smashed by Fury, landing on top of him, and quickly gives NGA a good amount of control for the fight.
Arlie had the Dragon Blade out there, forced to use most of the duration to reflect things, as Recry has to be a little bit careful. Biotic Grenade's going to make his life a little bit harder, but that's already timed out, and now it just backs away. He knows Fury's going to be coming for him ultimately, preemptively flashes the corner, and I believe did catch at least Shadowcat, but he has to back up here. AF had their time in the sun. They got themselves a good 60% on this point. That's a great start. They come back in with a couple of ults to work with. I mean, nothing major, it's just the offensive ones here, but if Arhan can get a good start into the back line here, this could be all over pretty much before it starts.
Without Shadowcat, though, he's going to have his Graviton Surge in a few seconds. Unless Arhan can take him down, take him out of the equation. He get the Graviton Surge out before he dies, and Recry does pop the Deadeye off to the side, which he picks up a double with, and just like that, AF Blue are going to be able to turn the tides of this fight. You look at Maps just trying to stall, trying to run around, trying to maybe pick up a kill or two, but the thing is, he's going to die most likely here. Oh no, he gets a kill to Arhan, and he's going to be able to get the health pack. I didn't expect that to happen, and now he's going to have the respawn in from the backside, and he's have the flank to attack from two fronts.
Yeah, I mean, look, you do. The point is lost as a result there, but Maps is forced to do a 1v2, wins out, there's the pulse bomb towards Yes-Man to get the second, Dayfly falls down, now Maps starting to wake up a little bit more, NGA pressing forward, and AF Blue have got nowhere to get back in. The point's going to be flipped back quite quickly, and NGA only give AF Blue a couple more percent before wresting control back, but they push a bit too far forward. RLE got picked up by Arhan as he went through. Adam is traded out here, but Jin finds Hysteria now. The Graviton Surge being used over the fight. It's going to be Maps going to try and chase down. He finds Jin. Maps is playing an incredibly good game here on Tracer. Gone are the days where we need to call him just a McCree player, because he's shown us far more depth to his pull here.
But he needs to back up here. He needs some sort of help. He has the pulse bomb yet again. He's only 10 HP. He's going to escape right back towards that health pack. His teammates have arrived, but the problem is AF Blue have been able to get the point, and Recry with the nano boost on McCree is able to push forward, take down Fury, give them the man advantage. The problem is, NGA, they have to regroup. They cannot afford to go in one by one. They need the entire force of their team to make this one happen in the last push of the game.
Maps getting picked off there was really important. This is going to buy a few precious seconds for AF Blue. Staggering spawns means more in this game time than any other. And only one ult coming in is going to be the pulse bomb here. Little Cat does have the Transcendence. That could be super important here. Biotic Grenade going to come down, and Recross trying to land up a bit of a Deadeye. He gets on towards RLE. That might just be what's required here for AF to hold on. He's forced back here. You can see Fury not giving him any space to move, but he's super low. Even a melee would take down the Winston right now, and that's Recry puts the shot in. Maps is still alive, and so is hope for NGA in that matter. But he's still trying to work around the side here, trying to pressure on towards Jim, but everyone is so healthy on the side of AF Blue, and they're going to hold on. They've weathered the storm, they weather the onslaught, and they weather NGA in the entire series. It's 2-1. AF Blue, it's a marathon in the last map, but they outlast their opponents, and they're going to be going at least into second spot here. Seeded second in the group, of course, go towards our tournament stage next week, but Maps definitely requires an honorable mention. Great work from him in this game.
Yeah, we questioned whether or not he can play. Well, we didn't really question if he can play anything else with McCree. We just stated he hasn't really played much other than McCree, maybe because he hasn't been forced to, or they haven't needed him to, but his Tracer was spot on. You see there, a quad kill with the Pulse Bomb, eventually helping them pick up Lighthouse.